Welcome back to my channel, my naturals. I hope y'all are ready for another meal prepping video that y'all have been asking me for. So here I am delivering. We have some very simple, easy, and delicious meals that I know y'all are going to enjoy. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we're just going to go right ahead and jump into it. Here is just a quick overview of all the ingredients we're using today. We have some brown rice, some sweet potatoes, and onion. I did not use that spinach. Broccoli, asparagus, peppers, shrimp, salmon, chicken, some soy sauce, some honey, some extra virgin olive oil. I also use butter and Worcestershire sauce. I cannot pronounce that word at all. The first thing we're going to be prepping are our sweet potatoes because they take the longest to cook. What you want to do is make sure you wash them off very well because they do come covered in dirt sometimes. Grab you a fork, poke about 6 holes into each potato, and pop them in the oven for 45 minutes to 2 hours. Sometimes it could take a little longer. You just want them to cook long enough so that the fork goes directly through them and you can mash them up later. So that's what we're going to do. While those are being cooked, we're going to go ahead and cut up all of our vegetables, everything that needs to be cut up. We're going to cut it up right now. This is a new step for me, but I honestly liked it. That way I didn't have to stop cooking. I can just keep going through my meals. So I'm going to slice up all these vegetables. Y'all do the same, and we'll start cooking afterwards. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I always take off that first layer of every onion. I never like it. It's always a little softer. So leave me a comment in the comment section below if you do this. Quick reminder that there is no right way to cut up any of these vegetables. I'm just cutting them to my liking. I typically like to dice them up pretty small. So that is what I'm doing, but there is no right way. Get your vegetables cut up, push to the side so we can actually eat the delicious meal. If you don't know how to cut up your peppers, I like to cut mine in 4 first so that they're easier to cut. And then I cut them down the center, cutting off anything I really don't like and just dicing them up, you guys, is simple. Don't make it complicated for yourself. It really does not matter. There's no such thing as perfection. Just cut up your vegetables. And once you're finished cutting up all your vegetables, I place them in the same bowl as the onions because they're all going to get thrown into one pot. So we're going to place them in the bowl and get started on our broccoli. When it comes to cooking broccoli, I like to cut off the majority of the stem just because I don't like it, but you don't have to do that. That dang on water got me in the face, but you don't have to do that. I like to, so I'm cutting off the majority of it. And if you know anything about me and about when I cook, y'all, if it look nasty, I cannot eat it. I just can't do it, Lord. So this one stem did not make it in. I'm surprised I'm even eating asparagus because about 3 months ago, I did not really like it. But I think it was because I didn't know how to cook it. So if you don't like something, find a video that knows, or my video that shows you how to cook it, and you may end up liking it like me. But we're going to chop up this asparagus and put it to the side like we did with the rest of the vegetables. And now we're going to get into cutting up our chicken. Well, cooking our chicken. We're not actually going to cut it. I'm emptying. God dang it. I'm putting the packet of chicken into the pot. I don't know why I can't say that word. I'm putting a pack of chicken right into the pot, but I did wash it off. So make sure you wash your chicken very thoroughly, of course, before you start cooking it, just to clean it a bit. And once that chicken is nice and clean, we're going to start seasoning it. Y'all know I love my seasoning, especially this one right here. This is my favorite. We're going to add a little or a lot of seasoning to this pot, depending on your preference. I like a lot because I like flavorful food. I used garlic powder, some complete seasoning, and just a little bit of black pepper. Nothing too fancy. And then I threw about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pot with the chicken, and I put it on a medium high. Or was it high? I cook the chicken halfway through, you guys, and then you want to flip it on the other side so it can also cook halfway through. Now that the chicken is nice and flipped, we're going to cover it up so we can keep some of those juices in and so that the other side can cook thoroughly. And we're going to get started on the vegetables that are going to go into this meal. I'm using about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil to fry up our onions and peppers. This is a great way to just get some added flavor to any meal, is to cook your vegetables, preferably your onions and your peppers, before placing them into your pot. These don't take very long to cook. It probably took a good 5 to 8 minutes for these to finish, to my liking, for these to finish caramelizing. But you want to make sure you're flipping them a lot or stirring them a lot so that they all cook and not just one side. And you really don't want that burnt flavor in your food. So I'm just going to be flipping these until they're finished, to my liking. And then we're going to finish this meal off, you guys. It is now time to go back to the chicken. I was a little scared that top was going to be hot, but we're going to flip it one more time. And as you can see, the other side has nicely cooked. Some of those juices are still in the pot, not much, but that's why we added that extra olive oil in there. And these are almost done. Chicken needed about 5 more minutes of cooking with the top on, and then it was ready to come out. Y'all, I had to use my shirt to take the chicken out. I didn't know that would be hot. And then my silly self touched it again. What the hell? So I took about 5 chicken tenders out to make a complete serving size. Now that I did that because I only have 4 servings of shrimp. So I used 4 servings of chicken tenders, but I added that extra one just in case. If y'all want a detailed video on how I do that, like how I split up my serving sizes, I can do that. It's pretty simple. So just let me know in the comment section down below. But we're just going to chop these chicken tenders up so that we can fit this all into one pot. Once it's done, we're going to cook our shrimp in this same exact pot. Of course, we clean it out first, and then we're going to mix everything together. One of the things I'm using to season these shrimp is some Old Bay. If you don't have Old Bay in your kitchen, you are missing out, you guys. Old Bay is so good. We have some soy sauce, and then I'm also going to put some Worcestershire sauce into this while it's cooking. I don't have a reason for doing this. It was an idea. I went with it. Try things in the kitchen, you guys. It's not that deep. So I'm going to cook these shrimp up. Shrimp only take about 4 minutes to cook, so please do not overcook your shrimp. These are some wild shrimp, so they taste a little different. Wouldn't really recommend if you do not like a rougher taste, I would say, or maybe a harder taste. But I also added some garlic powder and some complete seasoning. You know, I love these 2 things for everything. So I added some of these, let this cook up a little bit. Now that the shrimp are finished cooking, I went ahead and added in my chicken to the dish. That way we can get some added flavor. And to that, I added some Worcestershire sauce, some soy sauce. I added about a teaspoon of both. And I mixed in my peppers and my onions. It is already looking amazing. And while this cooks, I'm going to get started on our vegetable. I'm starting out with our asparagus because they take the longest to cook. This is like the best way to cook asparagus, is just to fry them up a bit. I only season them with garlic powder and a little bit of complete seasoning because they're going to go into that same pot with the chicken and the shrimp. It took about 5 to 10 minutes for the asparagus to cook. I did cover them a little just so they can cook through and through. Once your asparagus is finished cooking, it should look something like this, a little browned but nice and easy to bite into. We're going to put that to the side in a bowl, and then we're going to start on our broccoli. I used about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil to cook this. I seasoned it with some garlic powder. I did again add a little bit of complete seasoning, but just a dab. My camera's battery ended up dying, so I had to switch to my phone. But as you can see, the broccoli is nice and cooked, but not too soft. So now we can add everything to the pot. Starting with my asparagus, I didn't add all of them because I'm going to use some for my salmon. And then I'm going to add my broccoli also to the pot. And we are finished with this dish. The last thing I did was add a little bit of butter, some extra soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce to this dish because I am going to be putting it over rice. And then I'm going to cover this for 2 minutes and we are done. Now that our first dish is finished, we're going to get started with our salmon. I am going to be cutting this into 3 pieces because we have 3 potatoes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I was a little disgusted by having to peel this salmon off of the bottom, but you know, I will not be buying this again because it was just too messy and I don't like messiness. So once the salmon is nice and cut up, we're going to go ahead and season it. I season it with the same things I typically season with, which is my complete seasoning, my garlic powder, my olive oil. I did add some peppers and onions to the pan while it cooked, but you don't have to. That was another choice just to add some extra flavor. So before we put our salmon in the oven, we're going to drizzle some of this teriyaki sauce on top of all 3 of them. That way we get some nice added flavor to our salmon because we all know fish can taste, well, fishy. So I'm going to drizzle a little on top, cover my salmon up with some more aluminum foil, and pop it in the oven for 20 minutes on 375. I hope y'all didn't forget about your sweet potatoes. So while our salmon is cooking, we're going to go ahead and mash these babies up. There's nothing to it. The salmon timer went off, and what I did was I added in some honey and teriyaki into a bowl, mix it together to my liking, and I'm going to be pouring this over my salmon and popping it back into the oven uncovered on a high broil. You do want to make sure you watch your salmon at this time because it will burn, but this is how your salmon should look once it is finished. I did already place my sweet potatoes and asparagus into their separate bowls. So now all we're going to be doing is taking our salmon and placing those in. I am going to use some of that juice from that salmon and I'm going to pour it over the top. You guys will see what I mean here in a second. But we are coming to an end and I couldn't be more excited. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to my channel because these videos do take a lot of work. And thank you for doing so. I hope you all enjoyed this weight gain meal prep with me. I know you guys have been asking me for these videos, but like I said before, they do take a lot of work. I will try to keep more coming, so leave me a comment down in the comment section below for more of these videos, or actually for more other video recommendations y'all may have. We are out. I am done. I done slaved in this kitchen and my ancestors have helped me, but I'm done, ancestors. Peace out.